Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Christy Denny's, and I'm going to go through Matrix 601 with you. This is all things rental related inside of Matrix, and this is the last class that is part of the Matrix series. So if you are here, you've taken the whole series, congratulations. Let's go ahead and jump into it. miamirealtor.com. From here, the first step that I want to tell you about is that you have a rental resource page that you can find at any time that's frequently updated with great information pertaining to rentals. You can find it using your website search. It's located right underneath the word home, and you can type in either a product or service that you're interested in learning about, or a workflow like rentals, social media, CMAs, and more. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and type in rentals. That's going to give me access to that product page. We're going to give that a click, and that's going to pull up that Miami Realtors Real Estate Rentals for Lease hub of products and services, news, blog posts, and education that you can find. As I scroll through here, let's talk about it. We have your legal updates and resources. This is educational information that's facing our industry. We also have fair housing, rules and regulations, do's and do nots, and rental screening services that are available to you. We have multiple services, always more with Miami. We also have different articles that you can access, like the Inman Handbook, Finding Success in Short-Term Rental Market. We also really enjoy the Rental Assistant resource from NAR. And of course, our news, podcasts, and blog posts that are frequently updated. For example, just as of late, the most competitive rental markets in the U.S. have been listed, and Miami-Dade is number 2. Moving through here, we also have some great infographics that you can use, and rental classes, webinars, and events that you can take after this class. My recommendation is to take the rest of the rental series, including rentals, short-term, research, marketing, and more. And we also have another class, which is rentals, farming, and marketing. I do like to touch on Section 8 because of its importance, and you can find that information under Advocacy. Let's give this a click. Under Advocacy, you can also find your legal updates and our Section 8 choice vouchers. So clicking on this link will give you access to the HUD fact check, the HUD inspection checklist, fair market rents in the area, housing assistant payment contracts, and a Section 8 housing choice voucher program and virtual class that you can take at your own pace. Now we are talking statistics regarding rentals today, so let's take a look at the Section 8 fair housing rents. From here, your first step is to scroll down. We're already in 2023, and we're going to click here for those fair market rents. The first step is to click on our state. That's going to give us a list of our counties, and we can use Broward County for an example. And then we're going to tap on next screen. As I scroll down, it's going to break down Fort Lauderdale based on zip code, and it's going to give us the fair housing market rates. So we have the efficiency, 1,240. One bedroom is 1,340. 2 bedrooms is 1,670. 3 bedrooms, you're looking at 2,330. 4 bedrooms, we're looking at 2,840. And this is for zip code 33004. So I do find this very interesting, very easy to look up. And I hope you guys like this. We have, of course, towards the top, additional information that you can review. You also can go directly to fair market rental information for other programs by clicking on here. The next section that I did want to show you is that you do have the housing assisted payment contract. So we can give this a click. That's going to take me right into HUD, and we have it available in multiple languages for you and your consumer. And if you're interested in learning what will be inspected from the home, we do have linked here the HUD inspection checklist. That you can preview. Lastly, I do like to let you know that you have this Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program virtual class that you can click on. That's going to take you directly into our class. Now to watch this at your own time, you would simply click on login. Once it says welcome and your name, you're going to scroll down. You're going to click to register. And then towards the bottom, where it says content, you're going to click on the word on-demand video. Once you do, on the right-hand side, you can then click view videos. Furthermore, to see this class and other classes recorded and available, you do have Miami Trainers tutorials. This will take you to the Miami Trainer YouTube page, where you can search different topics, including rentals. Within your gateway, you can also always find Miami Realtors Live. Covering the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher section is very important to me. I think it should be very important to you as well. And I want to show you why. Let's go ahead and move into Matrix. And let's input a rental listing. Now, the first time you're going to input a rental listing, my recommendation is to look for the input form. You can find these on the top right-hand corner underneath your name. You can give your drop-down arrow a click, and we're going to choose Help. Once we've selected Help, on the left-hand side, we're going to look for Data Input Form, and we're going to give that a click. We're then going to click Miami Paper Input Forms. And from here, we're going to locate the RNT Residential Rental Input Form. This is going to give you access to a 10-page document of everything that's required when inputting a rental. Everything in the red is a required field. Anything that's not in the red, I do also strongly suggest that you input as fully as possible. But this is a great study of what you would need to input before you can submit a listing. Now, another tip that you can use with this page is also to determine how you can find information in your rental search. For example, if I'm searching for a property with a patio, the tip I would give is to tap on Control F on your computer. From here, I can type what I'm looking for. So for example, let's say I want a patio. I can enter the word patio and it'll be available 3 times within the document, and it'll take me directly to the first place where patio is listed. It's going to take me to page 3, and it's going to highlight the word patio under design. So for example, if I was going to look for patio/cluster, then I would look under design when I'm searching the MLS. Typing enter. The next place that patio is located is under exterior features. I have patio listed. And the third place that it's available at is under additional rooms, where we have a screen patio and porch. So if I was going to use this in the search, for example, exterior features and additional rooms, then you can go back, hover over search, click on to rental. From here, additional rooms are not part of your initial search. So you would have to add an additional field by searching for it, clicking on additional room, and clicking on add. We also mentioned exterior features, clicking on add. Once it's moved over, you can search for design, clicking on add. Your selected fields are available for you to change the order using your move up bars or move down. And you're also able to remove any of the fields that you have not been using. So for example, these are all very good. But let's say I wanted to remove my floor description, tapping on remove, and it'll move it back into available fields. So anything selected, you don't have to save. You can simply click on back, and your screen will be set up to make that search. Scrolling down, under exterior fields, we have that balcony or that patio, and we can scroll up And we have 3,724 matches for that search. Now I can continue with my search criteria, adding that additional field, finding that additional item that my customer needed using the input field. So your takeaway with the input field is it's located under your name, the drop-down arrow, clicking on help, and that these input fields are available for a study of an input so that you know exactly what you need to input a listing. And the other option is as a search, so you know how you can find certain criteria that a customer is requesting to determine what it's listed under. Moving back into Matrix, now that we've studied our input form, let's go ahead and add in that listing. You can do so by clicking on Add Edit. Under Add Edit, we have two ways that you can add in a rental listing. You can use the Add Edit input using Matrix, or you can use an Add Edit input using Rental Beast. The listing is going to syndicate to the same places, populate in the same places. The only difference is the style of the input. My recommendation is to get comfortable with all things MLS related first before incorporating additional programs. I'm going to click on Add Edits, and we're going to click to add in a rental listing. To do so, we're going to click on Add New under the word listing. Our next step is to determine the form. We're going to click on Residential Rental. From here, we're going to use IMAP to auto-populate the information. Note, when we add a new cross-property listing, we must use the tax auto-pop to enter the square foot field. So how you can use it is selecting your county, inputting a combination of the parcel ID, also referred to as a property ID, sometimes referred to as a folio, and a combination of the street number, street name, unit number, unit's first name, owner's first name, owner's last name. I'm going to do the following. I've inputted the address, making sure not to add southwest, northwest. I didn't input street or avenue, just the basic numbers. And then I can begin my search. If the property populates correctly, I want to confirm that the tax ID, owner name, and address are correct. If it is, I'm going to click to fill by clicking on Fill. Now this is really important to review. Whenever you input a rental listing, the Fair Housing Notice is going to appear. It says, the Federal Fair Housing Act prevents discrimination against any member of a federal protected class. In Miami-Dade and Broward counties, there are additional protected classes. Under these local ordinances, landlords and realtors are precluded from discriminating against tenants with Section 8 vouchers or any subsidized rent payment programs, as these fall under the protected class source of income. To stay up to date with fair housing developments, we do provide for you your legal update page. We also suggest that for specific questions about your situation to call the Florida Realtor Legal Hotline 407-438-1409 or consult private counsel. It is your responsibility to know and to comply with all fair housing laws. Under the Federal Fair Housing Act, someone can be assessed a maximum civil penalty of $21,663 for their first violation. Civil penalty amount is in addition to actual damages and attorney fees / court / costs that may be awarded. Now where it says I agree, I then have to agree before I move into the process of inputting my rental listing. I'm going to give status a click, and from here I can determine whether that property is going to be active and already available to show, or if it's going to be in a coming soon status where the property is not quite ready to show and will be within the next 21 days. I can go ahead and select when it will be available to see. The date selected under coming soon, will auto activate on this date, and there's an additional form that must be signed and completed, coming soon authorization form. We learn all about this during our MLS 401 class to add an input. Location information. Some of the information has been already inputted due to the auto-populate feature. From here, I do want to add in my area. A great way to learn your area is that it will be the second set of numbers in a folio. So for example, 49 in Miami-Dade County is my area. This tip does not work in all counties, but in Miami-Dade, it does. Moving through the sections to fill everything completely. As you go along, click on Save as in complete. Once you do, it will assign your MLS. Input an MLS number. It is still inactive, but it will save your information as you input it. Just in case you don't finish, you won't lose your work. From here, I can always click on Continue Editing to move into my second tab. General Information. Under General Information, we want to make sure to add in the rental price, rent per period. In this section, the rental price is going to be listed as per month. We can also determine if this property is also for sale. I'm going to put no. If it was for sale, I can add in the MLS number here. We had inputted the bedrooms and baths and half baths per the auto-populate. And I can add additional information, including style. Style is very important. This is where you're going to determine if this is a short-term rental or if it's an annual rent. You select the property type. So for example, this is a condo that's going to be rented on an annual basis. If this was a short-term rental, then we would choose condo, co-op, seasonal. Our next step is garage space information that we're going to add in. Waterfront details. Is the property furnished or not? This is a very important aspect when it's a short-term rental. I'm going to go ahead and put in that it's unfurnished, that there is no pool. Another important input when it comes to rental is the available date. Why? Because I can have a property that's listed today that's not going to be available for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, until maybe our tenant needs to move out. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and add in, it'll be available May 1st. We do have spaces where we can input additional parking information, describe the lot. If it's waterfront, we can describe the type of waterfront. If there's any parking restrictions, we can add up to 3. If there is a pool, the pool description, we have a section where we can discuss our boat services and our subdivision information, which includes the different amenity details. Under features, we can describe the views of the unit, the water access, construction type, and design of the home. We can also include the floor types. If you have multiple floors in the home, you want to input all types up to 4. So I'm going to add in that we have some clay floors and that we also have some carpeted floors in the bedrooms. Roof description is available as well as dining area. So you want to fill everything out fully and move over into your next section, which is remarks. In the remarks section, we can do a description of the property. Now, what we don't want to include is any of your personal information. You do not want to input your name, phone number, email address, any links or websites on the remarks. This is a violation. Again, the only thing we want to add into the remarks is going to be the property description. Under Spanish remarks, you want to do the same. We have a section where we can add in additional directions to get to the home, Spanish directions, and we also have our input broker remarks. The input broker remarks is basically important information that you'd like to convey to the buyer agent or the agent that will be assisting the tenant. On this section, if you have important information, for example, your showing instructions, if there's an attachment that you'd like them to see, or an important notice of how to work this unit with you, it would be under here. You have the same section, but in Spanish, and then we have internet remarks. We want to make sure to add, again, a property description, but we have less characters to do so. We have 150 characters to create or input remarks. Scrolling down, we also have office remarks, Spanish office remarks, supplemental remarks, and Spanish supplemental remarks. I do want to mention that if your property description does not fit in the regular remark section and you'd like to add to the description of the property, supplemental remarks is available where you can add in up to 10,000 additional characters. We have additional information that's available. This is where you can describe if the property allows for pets, yes or no. If there's possible restrictions, you do have your pet restriction tab that's available, whether the pet can be more than 20 pounds, a maximum of 20 pounds, are cats or dogs okay, none, or restrictions or possible restrictions a possibility. We have cable available, yes or no. And then we have the ability to describe the interior features, the security features, and the equipment in the home, as well as the exterior features, amenities provided by the community, any miscellaneous information, and rental restrictions are also available. So for example, we can discuss the window treatments of the home, the additional rooms available in the unit, and if the owner is an agent, then they can put yes or no, also a mandatory field. The flood zone information is already auto-populated. We can input our equestrian features, a bedroom description, if there's any storm protection, or green energy efficiency applications, doors, constructions that are part of the unit that you can select. Each section will let you know how many selections you can make in each category. So for example, additional room has a maximum of 8. Moving into the next section, which is rental information, a lot of important info is inputted in this section. So for example, you're able to input, this is particularly important for seasonal rentals, how much a rent would be if that property was rented annually and furnished, if it was rented seasonally and furnished, or if it was rented off-season but furnished, unfurnished annual rental, unfurnished seasonal rental, unfurnished off-season rental. Okay, so you can determine the different price points. You also have the ability to input the status. So for example, if your short-term rental is not available January, February, March, and April, then you would input unavailable. And let's say the owner moves or transfers back and the unit becomes available in May, you can input if it's seasonal, off-seasonal, or annual. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and put in that this is when our seasonal rentals are in place. Then we're going to go ahead and input that the following rest of the year is off season. And December, we're going to go ahead and put in that it is not available. Okay, so we're able to lay out the year and based on that information, input the pricing for that short term. So very important to use a combination of these features when using or renting a short-term property. We also have the ability to add in the minimum lease period and how many times it can be leased in the year. Moving down, we have the application fee. If there is an application fee, we can input the amount here. We can also input the amount of money due to move in. How long is the approval process? 1 or 2 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. The application fee is required. Is there association approval required? We also have personal interview. No approvals are also available, as well as rapid approval. And it pays for screening or application fees, and tenant screenings are also available. So you input up to 3 of what's applicable. So I'm going to put 3 or 4 weeks. and that there's an application fee required with a credit report. Here we have lease term info, maximum of 4. We can input if they can rent for a year with renewal options, lease less than a year, lease option, month-to-month leases. Tenant may sublet is also available here. As we move through the information, if they do have a management company and their phone number that you'd like to add in, we also have what does the rental payment include, what is the heating description, cooling description, and sewer description for the home. We also can include what the rental deposit is going to be made of. So for example, I'm going to do first month's rent, last month's rent, and security, water, and we can choose, does this community fall under Housing of Older Persons Act? Is it HOPA? No HOPA, unverified, or verified. I'm going to go ahead and click on no HOPA and then move into my next tab over, which is office information. From here, we can input our details. Your information as the listing agent has already been inputted. If you are working with a co-listing agent, you can input their license number here and their info will auto-populate. Moving under compensation and miscellaneous information, you want to choose if you'd like to have an AVM, if you'd like to allow blogging, if you'd like the address to appear on the internet, and if you're offering an additional bonus. Listing type is also available. So how are you going to represent the owner? I'm going to choose exclusive right to sell or rent. When does this property begin the listing term? When does it expire? Compensation to transaction broker. Compensation buyer, buyer's agent, compensation for a non-rep. Selecting variable dual rate, yes or no. Is the unit occupied? Call listing agent, owner occupied, tenant occupied, or it's vacant. Showing instructions can be selected here. So I'm going to input, for example, call listing agent, pets on premises, and that there's other showing instructions. Renewal commission is also available here. 2+ year commission, flat fee, less commission on the renewal. There's none or it's not applicable, renewable commission. So we do want to go ahead and select one of these options. Is this property okay to advertise and is attribution required? And we also have the website address, video, virtual tour, or photo instructions available. ImmoViewer will automatically create your video virtual tour. If you'd like to add in the photos of your rental, you can select Realtor to upload images 1 through 99, or if you're working with a preferred photographer, then the preferred photographer can input that information and load the photos for you. I'm going to select Realtor to upload images 1 through 199, 1 through 99. And towards the bottom, we're going to use our validate button. Clicking on validate will allow you to review any of the information that we have failed to input into the MLS. So clicking on status, I'm going to remove the date here. Click on validate once again. It'll clear anything that's required. And I can move into local information, review, and see what I have not listed. Type of property, we're going to go ahead and select condo, click validate, and move over into our next window. That Error icon has cleared. Moving into general information. Pool dimensions, I can add them in. Validate my input. Move into remarks. Moving down into internet remarks to also include. Clicking on validate. It's cleared the error and we can move into rental information. From here, is this renewable? Yes or no? Tapping on validate. Reviewing for any additional errors. Moving into office information. And everything has been inputted. Now, how I inputted this listing, is that how I'd like you to input your residential rental? No. I've inputted the minimum criteria. As a professional realtor, you want to input the maximum criteria in a input for the best results so that other agents can search your property and so that you can lease that property quickly and effectively for your consumer. I'm going to go ahead and click on Save as Incomplete. This will provide for me, again, that MLS number that I can then give my office to finish the process of activating this listing. So depending on your MLS accessibility, you can have limited access to the MLS where you can input a listing, and any changes and activations of those listings have to be done by an administrator or a broker in the office. Or you have full access where you can input a listing and activate. The last option is that you do not have any access, where you are part of an office that does all of this for you. Let's move into a next section of our rental class, and that's going to be some of the statistics. You can find excellent rental statistics under stats on your taskbar. I'm going to give stats a click and let's jump into it. One of my favorite ones is average days on market versus listing price. From here, you actually have a list of system presets. These are statistics that the system has already put together for you. So all you'd have to do is select the type of criteria to apply to the statistic. So let's take a look at average days versus list price median. One of my favorites because you share or you find out so much great information all at once. From here, let's go ahead and pick our property type. In today's class, we're focusing on rentals, so I'm going to select residential rental. My next step is to find similar property in the area. So I'm going to go ahead and select 3 bedrooms. I'm going to put in 2 baths, and I want to focus in on single family homes. So I'll scroll down, locate my type of property, and select single family. From here, I'm going to go ahead and select the location of interest. I'm going to go broad for this one. So I'm going to select County, Miami-Dade. So far I'm telling the system, find me residential rentals with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths that are single family homes in Miami-Dade County that have closed. I want to know how many days they were on the market and what was the median listing price. To generate this, I'm going to click on Generate towards the bottom. Now the system gives me 2 ways to look at this data. I have it in a chart form and I have it under data as well. From here in the chart form, the green line is going to represent days to sell, the median number, and then the blue line is going to be the list price, and we can see how that price has gone up year over year, month over month. Then I can go ahead and click on data, and this is another way that you can review this information. Starting January 2018, days to sell, well, we're thinking days to rent, 35 days on market, list price median, 2,500. And more or less, it kind of stayed in that range, right, all through 2019. We had a spike, April 2020. But let's go ahead and keep coming down here to more recent times. So we're looking at April 2023. You're looking at 30 days on market with a rental price of $3,800. So quite high, but that is our price point at this time. To find out more information, you can see the time frame that we selected, the property type, and our selections regarding criteria. But the results are calculated approximately from 13,000 listings that have been listed in the MLS. You can export this information. There's an export as a CSV to further review this data. Now, if I want to share it with a customer, I think that the graph option is a good option, or I'm sorry, the chart. So I can click on here. And on the left-hand side, you have where you can print this, and you also have where you can email it. So you can do either one. Let me click on the print so you can see what they're gonna get, right? A great addition to any presentation. Let me click on that X. Now that we know the price point in Miami-Dade, let's find out the price point in Broward County. I also wanna show you how can you change your criteria once you pulled the results. Up at the top, next to the word chart, you have the word search. If you click on this tab, it's going to take you back to your original search. And I can simply change from Miami-Dade County to Broward County. I can scroll down and I can regenerate this report with the new county. Now I have my numbers for Broward. As I move through here, again, the green is going to be your days to sell, though the blue is going to be your list price. And then under data, let's take a look. January 2018, you were looking at 32 days on market, $2,458 for a rental. That's a 3-2 in Broward. Now let's move into April 2023. You're looking at 31 days, 3,800 based on approximately 16,000 listings in Broward. All right, so this is a great way for you to calculate statistics on rentals. There's another good one, and I would say that's the historic count of active listings, so I can give that a click. I have my data in place already. So if I wanted to calculate based on the 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, Broward homes that are rentals that I've already chosen, I just have to change my preset, click on generate, and it's going to give me the new numbers. So now this is historic count of active listings. At this time for April, we had 494 active listings that were available in Broward County that were rentals with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. All right, so this is a great way. I'm going to go ahead and click on search to learn more about our statistics. We do have fantastic statistic classes. And you can also find more rental statistics using our system called Rental Beast. Before I segue out of Matrix though, I want to show you a few more widgets that you can use to optimize information regarding rental properties. So I'm going to click back on Matrix. That's going to take me back into my dashboard. And I want to show you how to optimize your market search. Now, when you're looking at your market search, you are actually looking at everything that's happening in Miami-Dade County, Broward County, Martin, St. Lucie, Palm Beach. Way too much information for it to be a benefit to you. So what we want to do is we want to customize it to your service area. Sometimes you can call it your farming area, where you want to specialize for your business. So at the bottom of the information, you have your property types. I'm going to click on that, and I have a few of them. You have all of them. You have your single family, you have your residential land, your income producing properties, but we're going to specialize in our rentals tonight. So I'm going to select RNT, residential rental, and then to the side, I can see, all right, do I want to know what's happening in the market in the last 24 hours? Today, the last 3 days, I'm fine with 7. So I'm going to take a look at what's happening in the last 7 days. From here, I'm then going to customize the property information that's coming in. So I'm going to click on customize. And all we would have to do is select the area of interest. Now you can do a few different selections. If you'd like, you can go by county. I think that's quite large. I would go smaller. So you can do an area. You could do a zip code. You could do a city, is my recommendation. Or you could do a map search on the top around your specific home. Why? Because if you don't have a farming area yet, who should know about you? Your neighbors. Who should you know about? At least around your own neighborhood. So that's a good start. I'm going to go ahead and customize it to a city. I feel like that's a good place to start. And I'm going to input the city of interest. I'm going to do Palmetto Bay. I'm going to give that a click. And with that, I am done customizing. All I need to do is click on save. And I'm going to know all of the activity that's happening with Palmetto Bay pertaining to residential rentals in the last 7 days. So I'm able to see, okay, there's 3 new properties that hit the market for rent in Palmetto Bay. There's 1 that is back on the market, 4 that they've dropped the price. We've got 2 that are under pending sale, 4 that have been rented, and 2 that are expired. So if I wanted to follow up with expired properties, being typed in an area that's close to me with a small number, like 2 that recently happened in the last week, will be much more doable for me than a big chunk of expired listings in Olive Homestead in the last, 30 days. So I think the closer you are, the tighter you are in your search, the easier it is to follow up. Now these rentals, we can go ahead and take a look. I can give a click on the MLS for that additional information. Let me take a look at this property. Let's see what it was listed at. It was listed at $10,000. You're looking at 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. And let's take a look at the history of what's happened with this property. So up at the top, there's a section right next to the listing tab that says property history with a little clock. If I was pursuing expired, I always recommend that you come into the property history. Why? You can see what's going on with those properties. So I can see that it went active, right, the 14th of 2022. And we can see what's happened to this property ever since. We can also see that it's been listed by the same person. And we also have access to how many days it was on market. So I always like to take a look at what's happening with rentals if I am pursuing them. As I move through here, I can see if the same agent, okay, they've listed it twice. Let's keep going. Okay, and previous to that was other agents. So this is a great way for you to review and see what's going on with a property before you pursue it. Now, if I want to get back to where I was, you click on listing. And if I want to continue to explore the next one, you can click on next. And then we have that second property that we can review that was rented $11,500 a month. You're looking at a 6-bedroom, 5-bath in Palmetto Bay. So I am still within my market watch. You can tell because you have your little icon here. It says market watch with a drop down arrow next to expired. I can click on here, and if I want to now research the 3 new properties that hit the market, I can click on new. We can also see that they're dropping some prices in this area. So let me give this a click. And from here, I have 4 new units. I'm able to see the percentage of the price drop, which I like very much. This has dropped 47.37% in price point. This one 4%, this one 12%, and I'm able to review and research them as I like to. So for example, I want to take a look at this one. And so here's our property. Okay, it's a lovely home. If I wanted to take a look at the MLS, I can, and I can stay abreast of what's happening in my vicinity, in my farming area. Now, let me click on Miami Realtors, another tip on how you can get to your dashboard. So far, clicking on My Matrix will bring you here, clicking on Miami Realtors will bring you here, and hovering over My Matrix and clicking on Dashboard will always bring you back to this main page. So you can't break the system, click around in it, get comfortable with it. But could I, now that I know how to use my market search or my market watch for rentals, click on my drop down and set myself up for single family, land, residential income, commercial improved, business opportunities. I could, and I recommend that you do. All right, the next widget that we're gonna talk about is going to be your hot sheet. So far, I taught you how to look up a certain area. And when it comes to the market watch, it's limited in the sense that I can only select one, right? I can only create one search per property type. Now, if you wanted to do more, you've got more options here in hot sheets. So I like to use Market Watch a little broader. So either a city or a zip code. Hot sheets, I love that for maybe a community or a building, right? Or a specific search that you want to see, like how many REOs, right, are in the area. So today we're going to be working rentals. So let's customize a rental hot sheet. So I'm going to click on customize. You've got two options on how you can get started. You can select your residential rental hot sheet and you can rename it. When I rename it, I'm going to call it a specific building. So I want to corner 50 Biscayne. It has a lot of units in it. Maybe I have a listing in here and I want to know what's going on in that building. So I'm going to click on save. So I've named my folder 50 Biscayne. Now I got to add in the criteria. So once it's highlighted and selected, we're going to click on edit criteria. From here, I'm going to decide what kind of changes do I want to get notified of. So for example, let's say I want to know all of the expired properties that are hitting 50 Biscayne, or I want to know what's been rented, what's coming soon, what prices have decreased, what prices has increased. I want to know what's back on the market, what's new, and maybe what's temporarily withdrawn and canceled. Well, all right, so this is what I want to know for now. Actually, let's terminate it as well. This is what I want to know. These are the change types that I want to find out about. My next step is browse my search. How do I do that? I have to add in the subdivision name or the name of the building. This is called 50 Biscayne. So I'm going to put in 50 Biscayne. But we want to add in little asterisks on either side of the name. And we want to make sure that it says 50 Biscayne. So once it's in, I got my two little stars on each side of the name. These are called asterisks. I am now able to save those changes. This is going to ensure that I get the most results for my search. I'm going to click on done. And now anytime that I come over to my hot sheets, I can click on 50 Biscayne. And from here, if there's any activity that has happened, I'm able to access it. So another option you can do is you can either add in a specific community. You can search around your farming area. So here's another tip. Clicking on Miami Realtors, coming back into hot sheets. We have one folder for 50 Biscayne, and now you can see that I don't have any more rental hot sheets that are available. So I'm going to click on customize, and I want to show you what you'll do in that case. What you would do is you would then start with clicking on add. Once you click on add, then I can click on the drop down arrow. I can find my residential rental once again, and then I can give it a name. So let's say I'm going to do rentals, my farming area, and click on save. So how would I do rentals, my farming area? Now I have my folder, and now I'm going to click edit criteria. Another recommendation is to use your map search. So where it says within 0.25 miles, add in your address. So I'm going to put an address. And as I start to type it in, the system's going to say, did you mean? And I'm going to say, yes, that's what I meant. And it's going to start searching within 0.25 of a mile. So a quarter mile from here are the properties that the system's going to look for. I'm going to go ahead and go out half a mile. And then I'm going to select what I'm interested in. So, okay, I'm going to start selecting some of the property changes that I'm interested in. I'll select all of them, and now I'm ready to save. Okay, clicking on done. And now I have rentals, my farming area, and I know exactly what's happening, what rentals are going on within where I live or a particular address. This is excellent if you have an address within a community, if you want to focus around where you live, and now you also know how to do a building. So you've got options, and I would leave the widgets within Matrix to do the heavy lifting for you. So I'm going to go back into Miami Realtors onto our dashboard. We've covered Market Watch. We've covered Hot Sheet. I want to talk about another option for you, and that lives under my favorite searches. If you didn't know, these are customizable. You can click and drag them wherever you'd like. And I have created an okay to advertise rental list. What does this mean? This means that I have a list of properties that I can advertise without having to ask additional permission in writing to market them. And why don't I have to do this? Because there's an additional field within your rentals that says that they are already approved just for that. So I'm going to click in my list. That's going to take me into 490 properties that I can choose from all throughout the MLS. And I'm going to click to open one of these properties. Okay to advertise is towards the bottom. And it's here. Okay to advertise. Yes, attribution not required. That means, yes, I can advertise the property. Think the word attribution to be in credit, and it says, is this property okay to advertise? Yes, it is, and credit is not required. So I can go ahead and advertise this property. My recommendation to you is advertise using a system called Agent 3000. The class I recommend is Agent 3000 All-in-One Marketing. The series is fantastic. There's a series of 4 classes. My recommendations start with 1 and learn all of the benefits that you can do. I'm going to jump in there with you, and we're going to do a little advertising today. But first, I want to teach you how I can do this list so that you have it available on your dashboard as well. I'm going to click on my matrix. That's going to bring me back into my dashboard. I want you to locate my favorite searches. They might be on your left-hand side, and I want you to drag them up to the right-hand side of your screen. Now let's get started on making that list. We're going to hover over search. We're going to select our NT residential rental. And from here, we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom because okay to advertise is an additional field. Where it says additional fields, we're going to click on add remove. If it does not say remove and it just says add, that is a-okay because you hadn't added anything yet. So in the search, we're going to type in the word okay, or the letters okay. You're going to locate okay to advertise, select it, then click on add. And once you click on add, it's going to move over into the selected field on the right. So if you have it from available to selected, then now you're ready to get started. You don't have to click on save or anything, just click on back. This field will now live towards the bottom of your page, and it says okay to advertise. Let's talk about your options. You've got okay to advertise, no. No means no, so let's keep going. Okay to advertise, yes. Remember, we talked about attribution meeting credit. So the listing says, is this property okay to advertise? Yes, it is. Credit is not required. So you can go ahead and advertise this property without having to give any credit to the brokerage. Your next option says, is this property okay to advertise? Yes, it is. Attribution or credit is required. So here, if I wanted to advertise them, I have 172 matches. I would have to say listing courtesy of and put in the name of the brokerage. I think that's a-okay with me. The last option is okay to advertise. This property is okay to advertise with written broker approval. Now, what does that mean? That means I'd have to put in writing and I'd have to ask for permission to advertise this property and let them know how I'm going to advertise it, for the length of time that I'm going to advertise it, and where I'm going to advertise it. You can find this document on miamirealtors.com under the MLS. If you click on MLS here, there is a form that's available for you. Scrolling through here, it is called your written permission to advertise form, located under MLS forms and applications. I'll open this up so you can take a look at what that looks like. You are more than welcome to use this form to request. But today we're all talking about tips and being effective. So in order to save time, I'm only going to select yes, attribution not required, and I'm going to select yes, attribution required. That still gives me 490 properties I can advertise. It already says yes, and you know what? I'm a-okay if I have to give the attribution to the office. I'm going to click on results, and now I have my list, 490. My next step is I gotta save it. So we're clicking on save towards the bottom, and then we're clicking on new save search. Now this search, unlike others that we've done, is not for a customer, it's for us. So we're gonna name it rentals, okay to advertise. We're gonna enable it as a favorite. We're clicking on save, and you've got yourself a list of properties on your dashboard that you can jump into that are rentals that you can advertise. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my matrix. I have my list here. Select rentals okay to advertise. You've got your list. I got some tips for you. Tip number 1, you can always click on criteria, because see, I'm still working within my list. And then I can decide what I want to advertise. So I can select active, and I'm interested in single family homes. And from 490, I got 114, and I'm interested in properties in Miami. So from there, I got 35, and then now I can click on results and see what I got. Now, my next step is I can take a look at what's available based on subdivision. So I can click on SN for subdivision, take a look at where these properties are located. I see there's a pretty nice one here. Let's take a look at what those pictures look like. Okay, this is maybe something I'd like to advertise. Okay, so I'm interested. I'm going to give this a little click. I think it was this one. Yes. Give this a little click, and then I'm going to show you or give you a little sneak peek into Agent 3000, how you can advertise some of these rentals. So I'm going to move into the Miami Gateway. I'm going to locate Agent 3000. It's this icon right over here. I'm going to give it a click. And my next step is I'm going to move through here. And I'm going to click on, let's do flyers. And the flyer I'm going to choose is just listed, just sold for rent. This property is for rent. So it says MLS number, and it'll give me an area where I can enter the listing MLS number or the property address. I'm going to go back into Matrix. We've got our MLS number here. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to move back into Agent 3000, tap onto MLS number, right click, paste that MLS right inside, give that a little click, accept the terms, it's okay to advertise, and then all of the pictures are going to populate towards the top of the screen. I'm going to take the pictures that I like, and I'm going to design my flyer here. I can move move and drag the bar. Okay, I'm going to drop in my images and then I'm going to decide, do I want to show the address? Yes, so I'm not going to do anything. Do I want to show the price? Yes, so I'm not going to do anything here. Listed or sold. I'm going to put for rents. This is a rental class. Do you want your profile photo or do you want your QR code? Both of them are fantastic. The QR code I really like. We all know what a profile photo looks like, but I wanted to show you a little surprise. Then you've got your name, your email, and your phone number already embedded in the system because we filled out our settings. If you've never used Agent 3000 before, I'll show you exactly where you need to put this information so it populates into your advertisements. Background image, we're going to click on select image, and we got some different frames here for our flyer. I'm going to choose light gray and blue, and I'm going to click on select. From here, I'm going to review my background colors, my address, and my context text colors, and I'm going to leave them as is. I'm going to take a look at some of these inputs. We have Doral amenities. I'm going to keep it, because it's saying the name, Doral Commons Residential. I'm going to remove this part here. We've got our remarks towards the bottom, and then we can share as a PDF. Perfect if you'd like to print or attach it to an email. A JPEG, perfect for social media or maybe texting it because it's a picture. And then we can share directly to our social networks. So the social networks do include Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, or via email. Let's go ahead and populate that flyer. So we clicked on the drop down arrow and take a look at that. In just a few seconds, we made an amazing flyer that you can use. It has the property address, the price point, your logo. It says for rent. You have all of the pictures that we selected for it. We have the remarks, the amenities that are available, and then your contact information with a QR code. So take a second, open up your camera, go ahead and hover it over this QR code. And it's going to take you right into a virtual website that you have created for this property that you can then share with your friends. And then aside from your friends and your sphere of influence of your listing, you can also syndicate it out to potential customers. You can put it on your social media. You can add it into a campaign of sorts, and easy peasy, easy to do. So the class again, Agent 3000. If you like marketing and you want to learn more about the marketing ideas for rentals and even converting maybe some individuals who are renting into buyers, then I do recommend you take the follow-up class to our rental series. So towards the bottom, it does say all information is deemed reliable but not guaranteed, and the attribution is right here embedded into the flyer. So that is one of the tips that I have for you for marketing. I'm going to give this a little click. And before we move out of Agent 3000, just be sure to add in your settings here, this green button, give that a little click, add in your information for your profile. Be sure to save the account changes, move into the logo tab, upload your logo, move over into your photo, upload your photo before you start doing any of the advertising. Now I'm going to close Agent 3000. I'm going to move right back into my matrix. And so far we've optimized our market watch, my favorite searches. We've also optimized our hot sheets. Now I want to talk to you about the rental search. So I'm going to hover over rental, select RNT, residential rental. And a lot of people have questions about short-term rentals. Now how you find these is going to be using the search field style. You see you have the different property types, and you have annual and you have seasonal. So if you're interested in seasonal rentals, a single family seasonal property is a property that's going to be rented out for less than a year. So it looks like we have 651 seasonal single family homes throughout the MLS. We can then add in our additional filters if we'd like. So for example, let's say I'm interested in the area of Miami Beach. So within Miami Beach, I have 32 seasonal single family homes. For more information on these, I can click on results and get access to those details. Now, if I click on one of these property fields, I can move through here and I'll have access to some of that seasonal information. For the most info, my recommendation is read the remarks and the broker remarks for that information. It says here that this is available May 6th. And then I have some details here on what that property looks like, what amenities are included. This is $3,850 a month. And for more information on this property, I want to point out that you do have something called My Condo Plans. My Condo Plans is available to give you floor plans of a particular space. So I can give this a little click. I have access to floor plans on my right. Love that. It's going to tell me that it's part of the Lennox. It's going to give me the floor plan of that unit. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. I can print this out either as a JPEG, an image, or as a PDF, free to share with a customer. And it's another additional service that I provided at no cost. You also have building information, like the building address, the number of units in the building. We also have the images, and we can also see that there is 562 units in this building. 78 of them are currently for rent. There's 14 that are for sale, and this is the activity that's happened in this building. In the last 12 months, 44 units were sold. 9 were sold in the last 6 months, 7 in the last 3. And if I had any association questions for my short-term tenant, I could contact Flamingo South Beach directly with any of those particular questions. If I was interested in working this property regarding rentals, there's a lot of rental action here. There's a lot of units here. So there could be just enough movement in this building that this may be a good building for me to work. Now, if I wanted to sell the units in this area, I can see the recent sales and the recent units. So I can see, okay, we've got prices from $365,000 all the way up into $950,000. We have those prices broken up by square feet. And as I move through here, they're comparing the price point per square feet, Flamingo South Tower, with Miami Beach as a whole. And we can see that Flamingo South Tower is a little more economic. It's actually going to compare it to Miami-Dade, right? So it's doing Miami-Dade, Miami Beach, and then it's going to give you the inventory available in that tower compared to the inventory in Miami Beach, compared to the inventory in Dade, and then it's letting us know how long it takes to close. Now, these statistics are sales-based, but if I'm working with rentals, I think a combination of both is kind of what we all want. So if I'm cornering this building, this is information that I want to know about. This is also available for us to download. So there is a download PDF report button that you can click on. You can access all of that information for your customer. This is another great way to give them that additional service. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I have access to all this info. Okay, you have like a little report for them. You can get the floor plans for them. And then click on the X. Moving back into Matrix. Now, I'm going to move into number 2 and see if I have any more additional information here. So number 2 gives us a little more info. No subleasing here. But as you can see, most of the time there's very little info that's provided. So if you have any additional questions, a good place to start is to always check if there's any attachments, which normally are right next to your condo plans. And of course, to contact the agent. Contact the agent with any questions you may have, especially when it comes to the short-term rental. I'm going to move back into my criteria, and I'm going to show you additional filters that can also help you when searching short-term. Go ahead and clear. And aside from the different styles, so we do have single family, you have condo co-op, you have apartment, you have duplex, all annual and seasonal. But you also, towards the bottom, have something called rent period. So if you were interested in something that was rented per week, the rent period is on a weekly basis. You can select per week and see if you have anything that's available. So I'm going to go ahead and select per week. I'm going to click on results. And we have quite a lot. We have 2,064 properties that are being rented on a weekly basis. That could be a great indication that it is short term. So clicking on criteria. How do I get that into my search? Just like how we did okay to advertise, my following recommendations are available date. Just because you listed, or just because there's a property on the MLS doesn't mean it's available immediately. I can list a property today and make it available next month. So this is a great tool to have. Rent period, love that for short term. Approval information, how long is it going to take to approve your customer for that rental? 1 or 2 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks? One of the ones that I like is actually rapid approval, right? If I need to find something that somebody needs to get into right away. Pets allowed, super important. We've got application fee. You can create a range if there's a certain amount of price for that application that you're looking for. You can take a look at that. We have remarks. This is if you want to find a particular term or phrase within a search. So for example, popular phrase. How about if you have a customer who's looking for Section 8? So I don't have a filter that says Section 8 yes or no, because all rentals are Section 8, but some properties have already been approved. So you can find, using your asterisks, Section 8. Asterisks on each side. Okay, make sure to do that, because if not, let me show you how many results we get. Let me uncheck by week. So Section 8, no asterisks. I got 0 results. Oh, 1 result. If I put in the asterisks, this kind of grounds your search and make sure that you get the best possible outcome. I have 826. Okay. Let me click on results. So within those remarks, you're going to find that term or that phrase. Okay. So I'm going to click back on criteria. And I'm going to keep going through some of my inputs. I love rental deposit includes. And I also love showing instructions. Why? Because by the time that you have scheduled all of your rentals, let's say I started scheduling appointments for this weekend on Monday. I promise you, by the time you get to Saturday, when your showing is, out of those maybe 5 or 6 properties that you want to show, maybe 1 or 2 are not going to be available. So I'm kind of in a crunch and I'm looking for the easiest properties that I can show. So within showing instructions, maybe I would choose something like electronic lockbox, no appointment. So if I click on that, I have more than 5,000 properties that I can show. And then I can be like, okay, my person wants to show or see that property in Doral. I have 990. I continue my criteria and I can fill in at the last minute some property that I can fill on our tour. So I love that option too. Let me click on clear. And now that we have some filters that you can add to optimize your search, let's talk about actually doing a search and optimizing your grid for a rental. So let's say I'm going to look for active properties that are located, I think I said Doral before, in Doral. And I'm looking for property that is under 3,500. And I'm looking for an annual property. So I'm going to do annual single family. There's 3. I'm going to click on Control on my keyboard, Command if you have an Apple. And my customer is also okay with a townhome or a villa. So I've got 16 under that price point. So I'm going to click on Results. We've got 16 properties that are available. This is what we call your result grid. I want to show you that this is customizable. I can take my subdivision, and when my pointer becomes a cross with arrows, I can actually hold it down, click, and drag it into any position that I want. So for example, for my rentals, I want to take a look at my subdivision right in front of my address. And then I also want to take a look at maybe my size of the property. So I'm going to take a look at square feet, living area, and I'm going to drag it. So I'm taking a look at it kind of right next to the price point. And it's in order right now from most economic to most expensive in price. But each of these titles, you can go ahead and click on them and order them. So subdivision, I can put them in alphabetical order so I can see, okay, there's 2 in Costa Linda. Why did I say it like that? Costa Linda. There is 2 in Islands at Doral. So I know, okay, there's only a few that I need from each. You have your different addresses here. You can put these in order. You can put it in order by square foot living area by clicking on the title, smallest house or unit to the biggest. And then I can actually remove things that I don't need or add things that I do need. So for example, I can add in anywhere there's a space between columns, I can click. That's going to give me remove column or insert column. I'm going to insert some. And let's say some of the columns that I'm interested in is DOM, days on market. So I'm going to click on it and apply. And let's say I'm also interested, insert column, approval information. I'm going to click on that and apply. And I want insert column, let's say approval information, days on market, pets. Maybe I want to know about that. Right? So this is all the info or some of the info that I'm normally looking for when I'm searching. So instead of having to click on the MLS and review everything through the page, I can see everything from my grid. So you see how this takes up quite a lot of space. I have another tip for you. You can take it, you can tighten it a little bit. You can click on here and there is a wrap line option that you can apply to your grid. So you can see things exactly how you want to see things. And I can say, okay, this is available at the gates of Doral. We have 4 that are available. The smallest one is 980,000. The price point in this area, you're looking at anywhere between late, high 2,000s, almost 3,000 is the norm here. It takes 1 or 2 weeks to approve. These properties have been in the market 3 days, 7 days. And as I move through here, 2 bedroom, 2 bath is 2 bedrooms, 2 bath with a half bath. Now the pet information, both of them say no. Actually, a few of them say no. So I'm going to click on pets. That's going to put it in order for me. The no's coming first. I'm going to click on pets one more time. And now the yeses are coming up first. Okay, so normally pets not allowed is going to cut your results in half. So I want you to just get comfortable with customizing this information for you so that you're able to save time. Now, if you want this to open up this way every single time, what you can do is you can save this display. So how you do that is you click on the little paper, you rename it. So I'm going to call it display for rentals. And then I'm going to save a copy. So now whenever I do a search, it's going to populate how it normally populates your regular display, not your brand new one that we made today. So where it says display, you would click on the drop down. You would find the name that you did. So my display for rentals. And now however you want it, you can see the results that way. So with that, let me give criteria a little click. With that, we have gone over quite a lot today regarding rentals. I hope that you can join us again for additional rental classes. We are always striving to bring you more and more information about them. Again, thank you for being a Miami member and have a beautiful rest of your week. Bye, guys.